you know, Grace and the Haitian-American experience sort of really resonates with me in Caroline's wedding. And I wondered how much of it is part of your bringing.
I grew up in a time, you know, when I came to the U.S. in 1981, it was still sort of this time of great frictions, you know, and so I saw a lot of people, young people, even older people, go through the same experiences as Grace, this experience of just having a real culture shock, a language shock, and then facing, in many cases, a lot of hostilities. Part of it is some of my own experience, but also a lot of it is borrowed from other people's experiences.
With the film, the feature film adaptation that I'll be directing, are there particular elements of the story that you'd like to be retained and that you'd like to, you know, see on the screen?
When you approached me, the first thing I said, I thought, I feared that the story was so internal, the story of, you know, that it might be hard to put on screen.
Yeah.
So you know, you were so convinced that you could, that I totally put it in your capable hands. And I think from the versions that I've seen of the script, I think, you know, you have, you know, focused on what is really at the heart of the story, you know, this relationship with the mother and the daughters and the father who's absent but still there.
Yeah.
And just that core of like coming of age, of just coming into your own, and this whole story that every immigrant goes through. How do you become American?
Yeah.
You know, and some people go kicking and screaming and others leap, you know, joyfully into it. So I think in a way that's what the story is wrestling with, all these tensions and within one family.
And do you remember a little bit about your process when you became an American?
We became through our parents.
Okay.
And then
so did you have to go through to the citizenship sort of ceremony?
I don't recall
Okay.
going through a citizenship ceremony.
Okay.
But I do remember when like the paper came, where you get that paper and you know, and now you can get a passport. That whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I'm massing all of my uncle's experience, my father's experience, like all these different people went through different ways. So I think it's something that's it's different for different people. And I just also felt like, you know, within my family and like within a lot of Haitian families, my brothers, there were two of us who were born in Haiti, there were two of us who were born here. So I think sometimes you have that in a lot of immigrant families, sort of these different status that people have, so where the child is the citizen, the parents can be undocumented, and all of these things I think are, you know, were captured certainly. And now what is your work, you know, in the version of the story? Because it's compared to, you know, it's a relatively, I think, a short story.
Yeah.
So you, I mean, as a filmmaker, I think, has also had to fill in a lot of what you want the story to be. So I should interview you.
Which actually, ironically, last year, after 25 years, my mom became a citizen on my birthday.
Oh, wow.
And it was a long time coming, you know, and she was so happy. Yeah.
It's a very interesting thing because there are a lot of people, I think, who hold out. There are people who will never be citizens. Yeah. And it's sort of to see how everybody comes to that choice. And I think for some people, it's an ideological choice, but others, it's a very practical choice. Like I don't, you know, some people might be, I want to travel and I don't want to have hassle.
Exactly.
And so you hear all these different kinds of stories. But I think we should also emphasize another element of the story that I think was beautiful to me, that I saw also in your adaptation, is the sisterhood. Yeah. You know, the relationship between those sisters, and you know, just really, it's like one sister is living another sister. So I think there's so many levels in which this could work. You had this generation that was basically living for the next one. You know, they sacrificed everything for for their children.
Yeah.
And also I think that's in the story, that's the burden that these girls carry, and that, you know, it is a heavy burden for some people, because then you're not just living for yourself, but you're living for the sacrifice which brought you here. And so I think there's also, you know, Papa's is a lot of my characters who are dead are like that sort of present absent.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's with them. I think part of that because, in a way, you know, the personality that he had and the personality that the mother had is that we're going to see that you make it even from beyond the grave. You know, that's because otherwise the whole enterprise has failed.
Yeah.
I'm just very honored that you chose this story. I have to say, it is probably the least, I thought, like, if someone wanted to make a film of anything of mine, that's not the one I thought they would pick. But you're a brave woman.